A lone figure stood on the precipice, his silhouette stark against the vibrant hues of dusk. Below him, an ocean of soldiers stretched far beyond the horizon, their armor glinting like a sea of stars. The wind howled, carrying the distant blare of war horns, a prelude to the chaos that lay ahead. This was Alexander, a man of legend, poised to etch his name into the annals of history. Alexander the Great gazed over the vast expanse, his heart pounding with the thrill of the challenge. He was but 20, yet his dreams were as boundless as the sky.
"This world shall know my name, and its lands will become my legacy,"
he declared, his voice steady and resolute. The soldiers below, sensing his indomitable spirit, erupted into a roar of allegiance. The clash of swords and the cries of battle had faded, leaving behind a landscape marked by the triumph of strategy and strength. Alexander stood amidst the remnants of the fray, his eyes scanning the conquered ground.
"Let this victory herald the dawn of a new empire,"
he proclaimed, his words a promise to those who fought and fell in his name. In the solitude of night, Alexander found himself reflecting on the path he had carved through the world. The stars above were like the countless cities he had brought under his dominion, each a testament to his relentless pursuit of greatness.
"I am but a man,"
he mused, "yet my dreams are eternal." With the first light of day breaking over the horizon, Alexander steeled himself for the challenges ahead. The world was vast, yet his resolve was vaster still.
"There are no limits but those we impose upon ourselves,"
he declared, his spirit unbroken and his heart set on the conquests yet to come. Years would pass, and the world he shaped would stand as a testament to his vision and might. Alexander the Great, the undefeated commander, had not only conquered lands, but had woven his name into the very fabric of history. His legacy, like the stars, would shine eternally, a beacon for all who dared to dream.
The expanse of the plain was now a sea of anticipation and dread. King Darius III's immense army stretched as far as the eye could see, their banners fluttering in the gentle evening breeze. In stark contrast, Alexander's smaller but fiercely disciplined forces stood resolute, their eyes set on the horizon where the Persian king awaited. The sky was painted with hues of orange and purple, a beautiful yet ominous prelude to the battle that would soon unfold. As the first light of dawn began to pierce through the mist, the soldiers shifted uneasily, their breath visible in the crisp air. The ground beneath them was damp, a chilling reminder of the night's passage. Amongst the ranks, whispers spread like wildfire, each soldier acutely aware of the odds stacked against Alexander. Yet there was an unspoken confidence among them, a belief in their leader's unyielding brilliance. Alexander, with his gaze fixed on the Persian lines, turned to his generals. His expression was a mix of determination and calculated resolve.
"We strike at their heart,"
he declared, his voice steady and commanding. Parmenion, his trusted general, nodded in agreement.
"A focused strike will break their spirit,"
he affirmed. The plan was bold, yet it was the kind of audacity that had brought them this far. The ground trembled as the two armies surged towards each other, a cacophony of clashing metal and war cries. Alexander, leading the charge, was a vision of relentless energy, his presence a beacon for his men. The Persian forces, despite their overwhelming numbers, seemed to waver under the intensity of the Macedonian assault. Amidst the chaos, Alexander's gaze remained locked on his target, Darius himself. In the thick of battle, Darius felt the weight of Alexander's strategy bearing down on him. His heart raced as he watched his once formidable forces begin to falter. An overwhelming sense of fear gripped him, and in a moment of desperation, he turned and fled. His retreat sent ripples of confusion and panic through the Persian ranks, their cohesion shattered. The dust began to settle, revealing the remnants of a fierce and decisive victory. Alexander stood amidst his men, his eyes reflecting both triumph and the unquenchable ambition that drove him. The path to Babylon and beyond was now clear, and the echoes of this battle would resonate across the lands for generations. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Alexander's gaze turned eastward, his mind already contemplating the vast empire that lay ahead.
Under the great road at the front of his army, his eyes fixed on the towering gates of Babylon. The people lined the streets, their faces a mix of awe and fear as they watched the young conqueror enter their city. Flames from the burning palaces cast an eerie glow, reflecting off the polished armor of his soldiers. The air was thick with the scent of smoke and victory. In the heart of Babylon, Alexander dismounted, his gaze sweeping over the vast crowd gathered before him. The citizens whispered among themselves, their eyes wide as they took in the sight of their new ruler. The Euphrates River, a symbol of life for the city, sparkled in the distance, seemingly acknowledging the change in power.
Today, Babylon joins a greater empire,
declared Alexander, his voice echoing through the streets. The night sky over Persepolis was alight with the glow of flames as the Achaemenid palace succumbed to Alexander's orders. The crackling of burning wood and stone filled the air, a testament to the final downfall of the Persian Empire. General Ptolemy stood by Alexander's side, watching the destruction with a solemn expression.
A necessary end for a new beginning,
he mused. Amidst the ruins, Alexander's soldiers moved swiftly, their eyes gleaming with the promise of newfound wealth. Gold, jewels, and artifacts of the Persian Empire were uncovered, each piece a testament to the grandeur that once was. The soldiers' shouts of triumph mingled with the clinking of treasures echoing through the desolate halls. Captain Lysander called out, his voice filled with excitement,
"Fortune favors the bold."
As the fires of Persepolis dimmed, Alexander turned his gaze eastward, his mind already set on the next challenge that lay ahead. The vastness of the horizon beckoned with promises of glory and conquest. Hephaestion, his trusted companion, stood beside him, sharing in the anticipation.
"India awaits, my friend,"
he remarked, the stars above twinkling like distant dreams. The first light of dawn bathed the camp in a soft glow as Alexander's army prepared for their next campaign. The soldiers moved with purpose, their spirits undaunted by the challenges that lay ahead. Banners fluttered in the morning breeze, carrying the emblem of a leader driven by ambition and destiny. Alexander, at the helm, knew that this journey to India would test his limits like never before.
Surveys his formidable army, the giant war elephants forming an impenetrable wall.
"Today, we fight with the strength of our ancestors,"
he declares, his voice echoing across the camp. His warriors, clad in armor, respond with a resounding cheer, their spirits high and unwavering. Alexander the Great stands with his generals, his eyes fixed on the distant enemy camp.
"We shall use the storm to our advantage,"
he states, a sly smile playing on his lips. The plan is simple yet brilliant. Create a diversion and cross the river under the cover of night. Alexander watches as Porus's forces react to the feigned attack, their attention drawn away from the real crossing point.
"Now, we move,"
he commands, leading his troops through the storm-lashed waters. The river surges around them, but their resolve is unyielding. Alexander signals his cavalry to advance, their horses' hooves pounding the wet earth. General Hephaestion, his trusted companion, rides at the forefront, his voice rallying the men.
"For glory and victory!"
he shouts, spurring them onward. Alexander fights with unmatched skill, his leadership inspiring those around him. Porus, despite his valiant efforts, is ultimately captured.
"You have fought bravely,"
Alexander acknowledges, extending a hand of respect. Alexander approaches Porus, offering him a chance to rule once more under his empire.
"I accept."
Porus replies, a newfound respect in his eyes. The unexpected alliance marks a new chapter, as both leaders look toward future conquests together.
Alexander sat tall upon his famous white horse, Bucephalus, his eyes fixed on the formidable Persian army. The air was thick with tension, and the sound of clinking armor filled the silence.
Today, we make history,
he declared to his men, his voice steady and strong. Alexander gave a determined nod to his generals, signaling the charge. With a fierce battle cry, the Macedonian army surged forward, their feet pounding against the earth as they plunged into the river. The water splashed around them, but their spirits were undeterred. The initial impact was thunderous, echoing across the battlefield as steel met steel. Persian commander Darius, a formidable figure in his own right, directed his forces with precision, determined to hold the line.
Hold your ground!
He shouted, urging his men to resist the fierce Macedonian assault. Alexander charged through the Persian ranks, his sword a blur of motion, his eyes locked onto Darius, their gazes meeting briefly amidst the frenzy.
For glory and victory!
He roared, his words igniting a renewed vigor in the Macedonian forces. The Persian forces, unable to withstand the fierce momentum of Alexander's strategy, began to retreat. Darius, realizing the battle was lost, sounded the retreat, his heart heavy with the weight of defeat.
The East awaits us,
Alexander proclaimed, his voice carrying over the triumphant cheers of his soldiers. Alexander surveyed the scene, his heart filled with pride and determination.
This is only the beginning,
he mused, already envisioning the vast lands that lay beyond. The path to the east was clear, and with it the promise of an empire.
Alexander the Great sat slumped in his throne, his eyes fixated on a sprawling map that lay before him. His once vibrant gaze now seemed distant and weary, as if weighed down by the conquests depicted on the parchment.
So much achieved, yet still I seek more,
he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. Hephaestion, his loyal companion, stood nearby, concern etched across his face.
You've changed the world, Alexander, but at what cost?
He asked gently. Alexander sighed deeply, placing his hand over his forehead.
Victory comes with its own burdens,
he replied, a hint of regret echoing in his tone. Alexander felt a sharp pain seize his body, a chill spreading through his veins. His vision blurred as he clutched his side, the world around him spinning into a dizzying haze.
Something is not right,
he whispered hoarsely, his voice tinged with fear and confusion. Hephaestion paced the hallway, his mind racing with suspicion.
Could it be poison?
He pondered aloud, knowing the political tensions that simmered beneath the surface of Alexander's empire. Despite the uncertainty surrounding his death, Hephaestion knew one thing for sure.
Your name will live on, Alexander,
he vowed quietly. The map that Alexander once gazed upon now serves as a symbol of his indelible mark on history. Kingdoms reshaped, cultures intertwined, and a legacy that would echo through the ages. Even in death, your spirit conquers, my friend, he whispered, as if speaking directly to the heavens. The wind whispers through the dunes, carrying with it the tales of Alexander the Great, the unbeatable conqueror, whose dreams and ambitions forever changed the course of the world. The screen fades to black, leaving only the words, Alexander the Great, the unbeatable conqueror.